Alright everyone, welcome to another Radio Free Cybertron Reviews, RFC Reviews. I'm your host Diecast, and today we have Remaster from Maketoys MTRM-11 Meteor. Not Galaxy Meteor, regular Meteor, G1 Meteor if you will. So we'll slide him out of the way to just take a quick look at the packaging. Here you can see a nice image of Meteor on the front in both robot and plane mode. You get the MTRM-11 Meteor, Maketoys, www.maketoys.jp. I like their packaging. On the top you get another picture up close of Meteor with his smirking face, which I really like. And then you get a shadow image of Meteor on the side, and then on the back you just have your product shots, which this one, I love this one just because his null rays are all up in the air and crazy. Look, you can move his null ray. I haven't had too much reason to move the null rays. On the bottom, this is everything it comes with. Null rays are of course already on the figure, and then you have warnings, because ages 16 plus. But if you're ages 16 plus, I don't think you need a warning. But, you know, hey, maybe there's some 16 pluses that need warnings. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at the figure. And here he is, and he looks very, very nice. Let's drop the camera down just a little bit so we can get it all in. There we go. So there you have Meteor, and we'll do a quick size comparison. Here he is with Despotron, and wow, I still really, really love this Megatron, and I think Meteor looks great, or Starscream looks great next to Despotron. And very, very tune accurate to me. This does take a little bit more liberties than this, I think. But I like it, and it works well, and they look great next to each other. And we'll get Despotron out of the way. And for comparison, here he is with the Takara offering with the Coronation kit. And they nailed the colors on him. This is the best colored Starscream that I have seen, and I really, really like that. And there goes Despotron too. Things that happen on camera that shouldn't. But yeah, there we go. Got him standing back up there, and we will go over that. That is one thing that I find a little bit hard to deal with on this figure, is the fact that his heels are not that great. But you can get him standing. Like, there is no problem getting him standing, but we'll go over all that. We'll get out Takara Starscream, which of course is the, I believe, the MP11 mold. So it's interesting that he worked out to be 11 in Maketoys' series of numbering. Let's go into some articulation real quick. And you can see the face with nice gray with red eyes. The sides do collapse for transformation. You get down a really good amount. Unfortunately, there's no up. But you can do side to side. It is on a ball joint, so you can get side down, but you can't get up because there's a clip right on the back here that the head bumps into. So it's not even this nose section, it's just the clip that nose section goes onto that you can't get up. If you turn his head around, he can look up, but that doesn't help too much. But he can do a full 360 on the head if you want. There just is no up. So the wings can go out. They can go or back this far. They can go all the way up. And then down all the way. And even a little bit more forward than normal. And of course they do just tab in on the back right there. So you can get a lot of nice wing options with this guy wherever you want, and it feels very, very sturdy, not flimsy at all. So then you do have, now this is kind of weird too, because the arm has a thump. It thumps there, there, and then straight up. So, but you can pose it all in between, and it does go out all the way. Has a double jointed elbow and a swivel at the lower part of, or the upper part of the bicep. His hand is on a mushroom, so you can get a full 360. The 3 fingers are just at 1 peg, and then the trigger finger is at 2. And no articulation on the thumb, which I think is fine. It's in a good pose, so that is perfectly acceptable for me. I can't get that finger to close. Come on, close. Yeah, there we go. Everything is a little tight on this guy. So, anyway, get back to it. You can also, just due to transformation, move his hand up a little bit. Actually, not too much, just because that panel, the way the hand's rotated, the panel does get in the, or the hand gets in the way of the rotation. You do get a waist swivel, and again you get a thump at right about there, but you can place it in the middle. So yeah, not sure what to say on that. It's there. You get these flaps that can move out of the way, so his leg can go all the way forward. Almost all the way back, and he can go all the way out, so he can do a full split. You do get a double jointed knee, which is very tight as well. You can hear it to get more than 90 degrees of bend. And then you do get a swivel up at the upper part of the thigh. And then come down to the foot, and you will see there is some inward and outward movement on the toe, which is very tight. And it takes this piece, the thruster, along with the foot together. Now, what I've noticed with this is this piece usually, this little point usually hits the ground, or touches the ground before the thruster. So the thruster almost does not act as a heel, which is what I believe it was intended to do. And this waist piece for transformation does slide up and down, and it has a very soft locking point, so you can easily bump it one way or the other. So if you see that, that's not the way it's supposed to be. It does kind of have a very soft click right there, but you can bump it, and it will get moved out of place. And then the feet, the toes are on a double hinge right here, and they are very tight as well. You get a ratchet, a clickety ratchet, and then that's on just a hard plastic click, I guess is the best way to put it. So again, you can get him standing if you just have him. You have to be careful, because if you don't have him leaning forward just a tad, not bad. I'll do a side view right here just to show you. If I lean him back at all, he will go right backwards. So you want to make sure he's at least perfectly straight for him to stand up, or even leaning forward just a tad. That way he's not falling over. So null rays, I don't think I did those. Those are plugged in on the side of his arm, and then they also lift up and can rotate around to do all the null ray poses that you want. And I don't know why they necessarily need this. I mean, it's good to have, but they have a lot of articulation in the null ray, but you actually take them off for transformation. So let's go ahead. And did we cover all the articulation? I think we did. Just to let you know, there is a Masterpiece butt flap, so he's going to fit in good with your other Masterpiece figures that have that. Let's go ahead and get into transformation on this guy. And first thing we want to do is we're going to do some cleanup work. We're going to come in, and you just want to untab these chest pieces. You will see a little white in here. That's just excess glue from myself, because this piece popped right off, so I had to glue it on when I got it out of package, just because it's glued at the factory. There's not actually a screw point at that, so it is glued on a tab at the factory, and this side was just not glued enough, so I had to do it on my own, which is why there's some excess white glue that would actually, I cleaned up a little of it just so you couldn't see it from the outside. I mean, a little bit right up there, but that's for me, that's not from the factory, and I think that's important to note. But we're going to flip those up, pull the waist down. It's on this double hinge right here, and then pull these pieces just down, get them out a little bit out of the way. Then you're going to come into the center here and untab them from the center of Starscream's chest or his cockpit, and then you're just going to straighten these out just like that, and that'll help when we go to reassemble everything. Now that we've got that done, we can work on this cockpit section. And what it does, if you lift this up, you're going to want to pull this out and up, and yeah, that happens a lot. That clip that this is on, it doesn't hold it all that great, so it does tend to pop off at times. It's just a very tight tolerance. What I think happens is it catches on the other stuff in there, and you can see it works itself out real easy just from rotating it. See, I rotate it a little bit and it works itself out and just pops off. So, I mean, it's good that it can pop off so it doesn't break, but that clip is not the best, and if you just move it up and down, it comes right out. So, again, I tend to point out little stuff just so you know, when you're aware, when you go to get this figure, if any of this stuff happens to you. Hopefully it won't, but if any of this stuff happens to you, you're kind of prepared or aware, or don't have a panic attack like I did when this piece pulled off with the first time I used it. I was like, oh my god, I already broke it, and then it was just not glued from the factory. So I was actually glad about that, because that means I could fix it. But once you get this all out, we're just going to go ahead and rotate this whole piece around, just like that. And then we're going to work on this headpiece up here, or the front of the front of the jet, the nose. Going to extend that piece out just like that. We're going to come around here. And then this piece right here we can pull out and extend. And then this is neat the way this all works, because the top of this becomes the bottom of the jet, just like that. And then the head collapses into that hole. And again, it's helpful if you have two hands sometimes to do this, and that clip keeps coming out. But just squeeze the head and get that situated like that. And then you're going to pull this piece out, and this piece is also going to rotate around to fill in the back. And then close this center piece up. And it's actually just giving me more trouble now than before, but I think that's because I'm filming. And I'm trying to do this behind a camera. So you can see there are two tabs right there on the inside of the nose cone that will go into the side of Starscream's head right there. So let's go ahead and just get that all situated right now. So just had to do a quick battery change, and then you can see what you will be looking at once you get this nose section all tabbed in together. The head will be flush on the back right there. And then now we can move on to the back, and we can just close up these two sections right here, which will further hold the nose of the jet in place. And we're going to come up to this section right here, and we should have did this earlier. Just pop the null rays off. Doesn't matter. I mean, whenever you're ready to do it, you can. But then you're going to rotate the fists. I like to rotate them so the thumbs are facing out. That way it'll close up real nice for you. Otherwise it's going to be crooked and it's going to be a pain. The instructions actually tell you to put the thumb in, but again, I do prefer thumb out for the transformation. Then you can collapse the arms, and they collapse real nice, real easy. And then we're going to fold these panels in and up. Just like that. And then these panels up here are going to come in and up just like that. And now these arms will swivel down on this slider and rotate in. And there is something not right about this. This was one part where I stared at the instructions for a while till I figured it out. Yeah, they turn in like that, so I didn't turn them in enough. and then they'll make an arrow in the center here, and that's that actually looked like an arrow, like it was pointing up in the instructions. I couldn't figure out what the arrow was trying to show me, but yeah, that's what that ends up doing. So fold that in. Now we have that all rotated up, and then you're just going to slide this waist up. Make sure this is all aligned. You want this all straight, and then when you slide that up, these will tab in on the side on the arms right here. You can see the tab on this waist flap, and then it goes into the forearm right there. And now all we have to do is come down to the legs. We'll leave the wings. You can extend them up just to kind of get them out of the way a little bit on the wings. And then you're going to open these rear wings up. There's a tab on the bottom there. This will just rotate up to get it out of the way. You can rotate that tab down. We're going to open the foot. Make sure you tilt that in, and you can see the very limited tilt on the ankle there. Again, you basically got that much. But you want to spin this jet thruster around. Do the same thing on the other leg. Just untab this all up, get that out of the way. We'll also get this other wing out of the way. Rotate the thruster around, close that up, flip down that tab. And then it actually says in the instructions first, before you collapse the legs, that we're just going to tab the legs together. And then what they do is they combiner wars down. It's going to be a thing for a long time, that combiner wars thing. And then you just make sure the legs snap in up at the top. Tab all the way together. And then close up leg panels right there. Make sure they both close up properly. And we can raise these top wings up. And now we can close up this back panel. And now all we have to do is we're going to open this section up, rotate this piece down. It'll come to the side just like that. Because when we rotate this down, these wing pieces on the legs slide back just like that. And then there's a couple tabs here. There's a tab that goes right there on the inside of the leg, which is right here. And then there's another tab right here that goes on the side right there. And then there's this tab up front which just pegs into the side right there. So this one is a little tricky, especially the first time you do it. But it'll go just like that. And then it's just a matter of doing the other side. And again, these are on clips, and this side likes to pop off on me. And we'll rotate that around. Get that all pegged in. And it is very tight connection. You have to make sure everything is lined up perfectly for this to work out. And then you can see the only thing I forgot to do is to flip in the feet, which you can just press. Again, it's very tight, but you can flatten them out just like that. Make sure they're flat. And then you can just straighten out the wings. And there you have Starscream. Bring these flaps back. And there you have Starscream in his jet mode. And I love it. They absolutely nailed it. And it cleans up pretty nice. You know, you can still see his waist on the bottom of the jet, but it is what it is. These he does have wheels. I'm just going to use his null ray right here to kind of help get that out. Or if you have a spudger around, a plastic spudger always helps too. Just like that, and then the two on the kneecaps. And they don't roll, but they are painted, which is nice. So, you know, if you need it to roll, he won't. But he does look very, very nice in jet mode with his landing gear on. And just an absolutely fabulous representation of Starscream. And I love how this, the flip around that this does in the transformation to make this accurate to both animation and jet, or animation robot and jet, I should say. It's just really, really nice. And, you know, he's not a perfect figure. I don't think he's a perfect Starscream. There are some issues where he will tip over easy. Some of the tabs don't always want to stay in jet mode. But I got this backpack, or this whole back section, top of the jet. I definitely got it lined up a lot better than the first couple times I did it. And one of the things I think helps is that hand trick of rotating that all the way around. That seems to help a lot. And yeah, so there you have Starscream in his jet mode. And let's go ahead and do some comparison shots with him. And here's Masterpiece Starscream in his jet mode just for comparison. And you can see, it's going to be hard for me to do on video, these guys are almost identical in size. I like the colors on this. The Maketoys offering a lot better. But they, in terms of jets, they stack up really well together. It's just amazing. But yeah, there's the try and do some side-by-sides on them. Again, it's hard to get both these guys in frame, but you can see how well they look next to each other, and they do look really good. I did put the null rays on Meteor here. There is an additional part in the packaging that can give it a shorter tip. And all you have to do there is just pull this piece off and plug that in like that. That way you can have the smaller missile look if you like that, just for comparison. There's the two. And then also in the packaging, other than the two face plates, which I'm not going to show off, you have a hand holding Starscream's head. And this is for Despotron. So you can go ahead and Despotron fell off the shelf. So let me just straighten him out a little bit. There we go. Pull yourself together, man. There we go. So there's Despotron. Pull these guys out of the way. And then what you can do is it's really meant for this hand right here. Pop this hand off at the mushroom peg and pop this on. And it is a tight fit. Yeah, I'm not going to push it all the way on just because I'm scared to break it. Despotron's one of my favorite Megatrons, and I don't really want to break it. But you can have him, I'll try and do an angle shot, him holding Starscream's head. Just like that. So if you want that look going on, you can do that. But honestly, from the front, you can't really tell whose head it is anyway. So just slide that off. That is, I don't know if that hand is just a little bit, it's hard to get it popped on there. And I don't want to break that off because, like I said, I really like this Megatron. I don't want to have to replace it. So see, his old hand pops on and off a lot easier, and now it's a lot looser. So you may not want to pop this on. It's nice to have, I guess. But yeah, I wish instead of this, we would have gotten like a Megatron gun for Starscream to hold. That would have been a lot better than this accessory, especially it doesn't seem to work that well as it should. So, and again, it's definitely for this hand. So yeah, straighten out Meg's head. Just to give you a look at the faces, even though I'm not going to put them on the figure, here are the two faces that you have that come in the box. You have the open yelling face and the smirking face, which the smirking face I really like. And these just tab onto the back. There's no screws needed to get these on. So you just get like a spudger underneath and pop off the face, and then you can pop on the new faceplate. You do want to be careful when you're opening up the plastic blister pack, just because it is very tight like a tiger. So you just want to make sure that you those head pieces flew out when I opened mine. But there you have it, MTRM-11 Meteor, and thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.